Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song Granite from Sleep Token and their album Take Me Back to Eden. I'm musically malnourished and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. In these videos, we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's get in, see if we can figure out what's going on with Granite. Okay, so right off the bat, I know I was here and now I did a transition and I'm back here. It's continuity, you know? It's interesting with this song because I think I understand the full meaning, at least from a 30,000 foot view. There's obviously, again, kind of this toxic relationship going on. Some of the metaphors in here has to do with like driving, and there's a few different ways it could go. So we're going to kind of explore a few different ideas, and then obviously you can share with me what you feel it lands on. But here's the first verse. Sulfur on your breath, granite in my chest. Now, I feel like this relates to, and the sulfur on your breath, generally the smell of sulfur on somebody's breath comes from when their mouth is very dry. There are certain, obviously drugs can do that. Alcohol can do that, causing dry mouth. And his later mention of secondhand smoke, to me, and it does feel like a lot of this is taking place within a vehicle. So I feel like the sulfur on your breath and the granite in my chest is that nature of secondhand smoke, that she has sulfur on her breath, and as he's breathing in this secondhand smoke, it's like granite in his chest. Now, there could also be this like toxic speech coming from you and this like hardness of his heart. That's what I'm saying. There's a few different ways you could take this, but I kind of like the idea of, because he's saying secondhand smoke later in it. So that would seem to imply that he doesn't smoke, but that she does. And you could take the secondhand smoke as a metaphor as well. But let's just run with the theme here. If he's trying to kind of set the stage for this, that she has this smell of sulfur on her breath and the granite in his chest is just that, like, if you're not a smoker and you're breathing in smoke, it creates that kind of like feeling in your throat and in your chest. You won't ever have to talk about it. You'll never want to talk about it. Fury too damn late. Reason dislocates. And you'll never have to talk about it. You'll never want to talk about it. So it seems, because he does get into later themes within this song of it feels like a detachment, like she's not opening up or she's not sharing certain things. And I can't remember. We'll see if we go down, if he's kind of frustrated by that. It does seem that he has some frustration that he's being treated as if they're not really close, or she's going to keep him kind of at arm's reach. Even the idea, we'll see about kind of being invited over and things like that. But I feel like really with the premise of what he's trying to say here is maybe as they're in this car ride together, he's breathing in the secondhand smoke. She doesn't want to talk about certain things. And the fury too late line, that one kind of stumps me a little bit. I don't know if he's saying like his fury is too late, but the idea of reason dislocating is just like there is no reason there. Like as in reasoning or using reason, that maybe what should make sense is kind of just come apart in a sense. But you guys let me know your thoughts here. Let's continue on. The chorus. I was more than just a body in your passenger seat, and you were more than just somebody I was destined to meet. Now, there are some people, and some of the annotations say this is why I'm not necessarily clicking into them. I did kind of read through them a little bit. Some people say this idea of being a body in your passenger seat, and that some of the other things within the song is implying a car wreck. To me, with the totality of the song, I feel like it's more so saying again, he's being treated in a way with like contempt. Like, you're just a body in the passenger seat. Like, you're not close to me. You're not, I'm not letting you in. And so in essence, you're nothing more than just a body there. And he's trying to say, you are more than just somebody I was destined to meet. So it seems like from his perspective, he views her as more. He views this relationship as more, which is also why he would probably want to be let in. He wants to talk about things. And maybe it's even something that the whole thing that's leading up to this way in which she's treating him, he wants to talk about those things. I see you go half blind when you're looking at me. To me, this feels like an anger. And if you were using it in a different context, it could be half blind in the sense like, that'd be a really great line in a song about not necessarily always seeing the negative in a person, that you do have to have the ability in a relationship to take a person with their successes and their failures, their strengths and their weaknesses. And so to look at somebody as if half blind could be an endearing sense that like, I'm not looking at you just for your failures. Like, of course they're there, but I'm kind of half blind to them. In this context, it feels to me like an anger thing, because it's almost like when you get so angry, it's hard to see, like your vision clouds. That's kind of what I feel like. You go half blind when you're looking at me, but I am. Between the secondhand smoke and the glass on the street, you gave me nothing whatsoever but a reason to leave. You say you want me, but you know I'm not what you need, but I am. And that's what I'm saying. This is constantly within the music. It's like, I'm trying to figure out, is she pushing him away? Is she welcoming him? Maybe it's a little bit of both, which is the reason that these relationships are somewhat toxic. Between the secondhand smoke and the glass on the street, that's why some people implied maybe there was a car accident. I just get the feeling that it's a conversation and she's smoking while they're talking. So there's secondhand smoke, and the glass on the street could have to do with drinking as well. Maybe being angry and breaking a bottle. It could be calling back to a specific memory that he's having, of this conversation. And there's just secondhand smoke and this glass that's on the street. So I don't know. You let me know your thoughts again. But we can tell that whatever this interaction was, he's saying, you gave me nothing whatsoever but a reason to leave. So maybe she's saying that she wants him, but at the same time saying he's not what she needs. And then he's rebutting, but I am. Then verse 2, when you'd sit there acting like you know me, acting like you only brought me here to get below me. This is why I get a little confused with this, because acting like you know me almost implies intention on her part, like she's at least trying, but maybe again it's the realization that everything's kind of been at arm's reach. And so he's like, you're acting like you know me, and then also acting like you only brought me here to get below me. Could have a few different meanings. The first one that I think about is being invited over only for like to sleep together. And so acting like you only brought here to get below me. So again, that kind of reinforces the shallowness of this relationship. It could also be this like reducing herself, but I don't know. The first thought that it feels like it continues to reinforce the idea in the song. Never mind the death threats, which probably coming from her, parting at the door. So again, this is this toxic relationship, because even though all these things are existing and are negative, the reality is we'd rather be 6 feet under than be lonely. And so like we'd rather be going through this than be apart. And it also, this could lean toward a relationship where they're using together. I don't know that there's enough evidence in the song for that, but these parts here kind of could lean toward that, because we'd rather be 6 feet under, the idea that maybe they could die because of the substance they're using. And if you had a problem, then you should have told me, for you started getting all aggressive and controlling. You only drink the water when you think it's holy. So keep an eye on the road, or we will both be here forever. This one stumped me a little bit too. Some people were saying that she would be considering the holy water as alcohol. Obviously he's saying, like, you should have opened up to me, told me if there was some problem, and then you started getting aggressive and controlling, meaning like maybe there was these signs, or maybe he didn't see them, and that she was feeling a certain way, and the way, instead of her confronting it and talking about it, right? Like, that's what we should do as adults, talk about these things, because if you let this bitter root grow in your heart and you don't ever talk about it in a healthy manner, I'm not talking about screaming at each other, I'm talking about having a true, meaningful conversation, sharing whatever's going on inside of you, whatever you're feeling toward the other person, and making sure that it's measured, right? Because sometimes we're going through our own things and we're perceiving things in a certain way. We have to check our perception and make sure, like, and honestly, there's the Bible verse that says that we should get the log out of our eye before getting the splinter out of someone else's eye. And the whole premise is like, you're trying to get this little splinter out, and you got this you got this giant thing sticking out of your own eye. And I think that's important when we're going to confront somebody, or try to have a beneficial conversation that could be confrontational. Like, check ourselves first. Man, am I being stressed? Are there other things that are leaning toward me having a skewed perspective? And if you can honestly say, like, of course, I know I have my own faults, but I really feel like this is something we've got to solve together, then you approach a conversation not just to be heard, but to find a solution, not just to be heard, but to find peace. And so that's the whole thing, is it seems like maybe she had some things going on, or some feelings that she was having that she didn't talk about. And the way those manifested was by getting aggressive and controlling, because she didn't deal with them in a healthy manner. And so you only drink the water when you think it's holy. To me, I don't know, in some way feels like it speaks to, like, she only doesn't act this way, or maybe she acts a specific way toward him only when she thinks he's at his best. I don't know. I know that's a little bit of a stretch, but it's kind of where my mind goes. And I don't know that I have the best words to explain it, but I think you might catch what I'm saying. Like, she only drinks of him when she thinks it's holy, like on her terms. And so keep an eye on the road, or we'll both be here forever, I think could be a metaphor for if they are in a vehicle within this, is like maybe the argument that's taking place within this vehicle, or the feeling of her being angry, feeling half blind, looking at him, could be like literally like, pay attention to the road, or we're going to die here. It could also be like, keep an eye on the road, like where we're trying to go. Don't get all turned off sideways. Like, keep an eye on where we're trying to go, or we're just going to be stuck here forever. We're going to be stuck in this cycle. So that's why I was saying, leading into this, there's like so many different ways that you could take this. And so then he repeats the chorus. And it's a repeat. And obviously the recurring line here, I think, is him recognizing, like, I am what you need. Even though you keep rejecting me, you keep pushing me away, you keep internalizing things, you keep only wanting me on your terms, but I am here for you, and I am what you need. So that's my best swing at it. You let me know your thoughts in the comments. We can have a conversation there. Thanks for being with me for this one. Hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.